Chapter 13. The Bayou. At first, Jamal was certain Dr. Facilier was about to pounce, but his eyes fell on Riley. She was standing behind them. She cocked her head. Her eyes were locked on the skull necklace. In the bright sunlight, her hair looked even more vibrantly purple than usual. "You know, that isn't just any ordinary necklace," she said. "So be careful with it. It's dangerous to just pull it out in broad daylight like that. Somebody might try to steal it." "Wait, what?" Jamal stammered, clutching the necklace tighter in his fist. "How do you know about my necklace? And, well, yeah, that already happened." Riley frowned. Her eyes darted to the shadow at Jamal's feet. "Also, why are you talking to your own shadow?" she asked. You heard that too?" Jamal said, feeling self-conscious. Blood rushed to his cheeks, making them hot. "Yeah, not much escapes my notice," Riley added with a smirk. "I've been watching you, and today you were acting super weirdo, like next level weirder than usual. Then I noticed when you didn't come out of the locker room after gym class." "So you followed me out here?" Jamal said. "Yeah, don't worry, I'm not a stalker," Riley said with a dramatic eye roll. "Just curious. Plus, I pay attention when my friends are acting like something's wrong." Friends? She actually thought of him as a friend. "But why are you so interested in me?" Jamal asked. "Why are you the only one who seems to notice me?" Riley shrugged. "I don't know, to be honest. But my whole life I've been different. It kind of runs in my family, I guess. I can see things that nobody else can. So can my grandmother." Jamal took that in. He felt like she was a kindred spirit. He had always felt different too, though he'd never had any superpowers until the skull necklace and the Shadow Man. "Also, I noticed that skull necklace," Riley went on, "the other day in the cafeteria, the way you were pulling it out. I was worried you didn't know what it really was." "The necklace?" Jamal said. "What do you know about it?" "It has special powers," Riley said with a frown. "You gotta be careful with that stuff. You never know who might be drawn to it." "Jamal, she knows about the necklace," Malik rasped excitedly, shifting around on the ground. "Maybe she knows something that can help us." Riley flinched and her eyes widened in fear. She glanced from Jamal to the shadow at his feet. "What the? Your shadow can talk?" she said in shock, her eyes fixing on Malik. "Wait, you can hear me?" Malik rasped hopefully. "Holy moly, you're Malik," she said, recognizing his voice. "Jamal's brother, but you're a shadow?" "You remember him?" Jamal asked. "Of course I do," Riley said. "Why? What's going on?" Jamal hesitated, unsure if he could trust Riley. He had only known her for a few days, but she was the only person in the entire school who remembered that Malik existed. That had to mean something. Plus, she'd been nice to him from the day she'd arrived at school. There was definitely something different about her. And she needed to know things about the necklace that he hadn't told anyone other than Malik. Maybe she had information that could help them. "And right now we need all the help we can get." "Go ahead, spit it out," Riley said with an impatient sigh. She crossed her arms and stared him down. "This day can't possibly get any weirder." "Be careful what you wish for," Malik rasped. Even as a shadow, he still had his dry sense of humor. "Literally," Jamal said with a frown. "Okay, it's a long story." Jamal glanced around to make sure that nobody was watching them, but the athletic field was deserted because everyone was still in class. Bright sunlight beat down on them, but soon it would be late afternoon and the sun would start to fade. He glanced around, scanning for the security guard, but he wasn't lurking nearby. So he took a deep breath and told Riley everything. He explained that Dr. Facilier had promised him that he could step out of his brother's shadow if he gave him the skull necklace. But the necklace always glowed to warn him about the Shadow Man, so he'd trade his brother's trumpet instead. But then he'd woken up and Malik was gone, until he revealed himself to be a shadow. We think he double-crossed me, Jamal finished, digging the toes of his shoes into the field. This wasn't what I meant to happen when I made the deal. I can't believe you've been messing with the Shadow Man, Riley said, her voice wavering with fear. You can't trust him. Everybody knows that. Except me, apparently, Jamal said, casting his gaze down. I'm such an idiot. I just wanted to know what it would feel like to have friends for once. But you did have a friend, dummy, Riley said in exasperation. I'm your friend, didn't you notice? Jamal's eyes darted to his brother. Yeah, but you would have forgotten me too once you met my brother. That's what always happens. Riley smirked. Hey, hate to break it to you, your brother's cool and all that jazz, but I like you way better. Wait, you do? Jamal said. Cross my heart and hope to die, Riley said. Guys, I'm right here, Malik grasped. Even if I am a shadow, I can still hear you talking about me. They all laughed. It felt good to laugh, but then Riley turned more serious. Look, at least you didn't give Dr. Facilier that skull necklace. That would have been way worse. What could be worse than this, Jamal said, pointing to his shadow brother. Also, if he wants it so bad, why doesn't he just take it? Why go through all this? Riley frowned and studied the necklace more closely. Her fingers stroked the eye sockets, then she looked up. My best guess is that it's got a protection spell placed on it. Protection spell? Asked Malik. Riley nodded. You said it glows and warns you when the Shadow Man is nearby? Yeah, that's right, Jamal confirmed. Every single time. Well, then maybe it also has a spell placed on it to prevent him from taking it, Riley went on. If that's the case, then the only way he can possess it is if you give it to him. That makes sense, Jamal said, thinking it over. Only I'm going to have to give it to him now. It's the only leverage I've got to make him reverse the curse and bring Malik back. What other choice do I have? Riley chewed on her lower lip. Look, I don't know everything about that necklace, she said, but Grandma Duchorou might know more. She has one just like it. Your grandmother has one too? Malik rasped. That's crazy. Riley nodded. Yeah, and we need to go see her. She's special. She lives deep in the bayou. Jamal exchanged looks with Malik, then turned back to Riley. But the bayou's filled with gators and poisonous snakes, Jamal said. But Riley had already started across the track toward the road. Just follow me, and bring your shadow brother with you. She gave them an annoyed look. And don't be such scaredy cats. I know the secret path through the bayou. My grandmother showed me the way. Right. It's not like I have a choice whether to bring him, Jamal said, jogging to keep up with her. He is a shadow now. He sort of follows me wherever I go. They traversed the athletic field, slipping under the perimeter fence, and crossed the road, ducking to avoid being busted by the security guard for skipping school. As they headed for the thick trees that marked the edge of the bayou, with Shadow Malik trailing them, Jamal felt goosebumps prick the back of his neck. He got the feeling someone was watching them. That was when the skull necklace lit up. Jamal glanced back, and his eyes fell on Dr. Facilier. He was standing on the roof of the school, watching them. The creepy dolls surrounded him like a flock. Their mismatched button eyes were also locked on them. They almost looked hungry. Dr. Facilier tipped his top hat toward Jamal. How much had he overheard? Goosebumps erupted all over Jamal's body. He reached up and clutched the necklace. It felt warm. It probably did have some sort of protection placed on it, so Dr. Facilier couldn't just take it from him. But it seemed like the Shadow Man was growing stronger. Jamal couldn't explain exactly how he knew that. It was more of a feeling. Maybe because the necklace linked them together somehow. But then they ducked into the bayou and were swallowed up by the trees. The Shadow Man vanished from Jamal's sight. But Jamal knew one thing for sure. Dr. Facilier was watching them. He wants this necklace, Jamal thought with a shiver, and I bet he's willing to do anything to get it back.